Another way for students to display good comprehension is by asking questions. This helps students to be paying attention to what is happening before, during, and after the book. And it also helps students to monitor their own thinking as well. The question words should be displayed in a classroom, especially for students that have a harder time asking questions, because this always gives students a visual to rely back on when they need to ask questions. My students usually have a hard time asking questions, so last year I worked with our ELL coordinator for our school, and we developed a game that my students have really enjoyed and has also helped them to ask better questions. So before we learn how to ask questions about a text, we learn how to ask questions in general. So we've learned about the 6 core question words, and I assigned each of them a number. Then I projected a picture or a video on the board, and students got to take turns rolling a die. And if the number for their question word matched the die, then they had to ask a question about the picture using that particular question word. And this helped them to get used to the process of asking questions in general. Then we talked about how we could ask questions before reading using graphic organizers and sticky notes. So we would show the cover and we would think about what kinds of questions we could ask based on the cover and the title. And then as we went throughout the story, we wrote down questions that we had as the story continued, and the same thing with afterwards. And we also discussed how we could find out the answers to our questions after a story was over. This worked really well for my first grade ELL students, but it can also be easily adapted to fit the needs of older students as well.